So today marks day one of me book touring through Skyrim. My publisher thought it would be a good idea for me to get myself out there, meet some of the fans, and go to a couple places, sign a couple books. No big deal. How did it go? Well, today was a little weirder than I thought it would be, but those kinds of things they happen while you're on the road, and it's to be expected somewhat. Yeah. To be honest, I don't really remember how we got to Helgen. I remember we were coming in from the north, and we stopped to talk to some guy who was by some stables with some horses, and then the next thing I know, I black out, and when I wake up, I'm sitting on a wagon with some guys, and they're all in uniform, and I'm like, this doesn't look like the uniform that my production crew was wearing that was with me. Maybe they're meeting us here. I don't know. Sometimes you're just going, right? And travel makes me nervous, so maybe I just, I kind of black out anyways, right? Like it gets to be a blur. So I don't know. But these wagons, they pull up. We're going to Helgen. I'm like, this is great news. No big deal. The guys are talking, shop with each other, but
shouldn't keep the gods waiting for us.
I don't mind. That's fine. Like it's a pleasure to be among them and get to see them do their craft. And then we meet some other guys, and they're dressed in like LARPing uniform, which makes sense. I'm a fantasy author. Cool. Okay. Start hopping down onto the street, and the city officials are kind of directing us which way to go. A guy just bolts for it.
You're not gonna kill me, archers!
And at first I'm freaking out because they pull out their arrows and they shoot him, and he just collapses to the ground, and I'm like, what is going on, right? But in my head I'm like, it's a production, it's a play, it's a small town, a big time author is in their midst. Like, what are they gonna do? They want to do something fun, so cool. Like I play along, and they're like, what's your name, prisoner? And so I tell them, oh, I'm Benji, graphic novelist, fantasy novelist. Nice to meet you. And they're like, oh, your name's not on the list. And I'm like, funny, right? Because like obviously I'm the one that the list is for. They lead us over to this area where like they're doing this whole execution bit. Still not quite sure how they pulled that off, to be honest. Those were some very good practical effects. There was a guy. Yeah, I don't know. But anyways, it gets to be my turn, and I'm like, okay, that's weird. What are we gonna do? And that's really where things got weird.
What in oblivion is that?
There was this big like shout. A dragon kind of swooped down, started burning things.
Sentry, what do you see?
It's in the clouds.
The city just kind of caught on fire, really, and I was able to, obviously, you can tell the difference between production values. I was like, now that's real. So I started running. The different guys were telling me which way to go. We got stuck in a tower at one point, and the dragon was like trying to shoot fire into where we were hiding, but we were good. We made it out, climbed to the top, and then we actually had to jump down into someone else's house, which is crazy. Started following a different guy, one of the city officials.
Boy, you're doing great. Toro!
And there was one point where I just tripped and thought I died, but I got back up. Turns out a different person, one of the city officials, had tripped and died. I had just tripped, not died, which was, talk about a story to say, to the family when you get home, right? Anyways, the people can't agree about which way to go. We've got the guys who are with me, in the wagon. They're like, we should go this way. And then the city officials, we should go this way. I go with the city officials because, like, who's going to know the layout of the town better than the city officials? Like, they're going to get us through this. And I was, like, super confident that, like, they had it. And they did know a way out. I will give them that. That being said, the guy that I was with in the city official group, what was his name, Havar?
Quick, I can cut you.
He was something else. He had a bit of a violent streak, I think I would say. I think that's probably the best way to describe that. And
That'll teach you to cross me.
And it was hard to tell what was production and what was not. So, anyways, I'm gonna leave that there. We kept going. We were like, all right, we gotta get away from this dragon. Really annoying that it's interrupting the book tour, but like, hey, press is press. At one point, he gives me 2 swords, and I'm like, what do I do with these? People start attacking me, and I'm like, that's definitely not production. Those hurt. But Hadvar had it in a bag. I guess I had magic powers. I didn't know that up until today, but I was able to burn some people as well. They showed me like a torture room of a lot of questions about Helgen. Honestly, I feel like a deeper investigation needs to happen there. But I'm just here to sign some books. So that's not my job. But if you're watching this and that is your job, maybe go check out Helgen. Maybe don't. I don't know that the city's doing so well anymore. So Hadvar, I think's his name. He starts taking us to all these different, tunnels. And I'm polite. I'm respectful. I don't know really what the history of these things are, so I try not to touch anything. But there's just a whole bunch of weird stuff going on in these tunnels. I don't even know how the building transitioned into the kind of tunnels we're in, but all of a sudden there's like spiders, and I'm fighting spiders for my life. And then there's a very observant bear that we have to sneak past.
Easy does it.
Kind of like, stop. Okay, go. And then stop. Okay, go. But we keep going, and we keep going, and eventually we make it out, and would you look at that? We are on the road to the next city, Riverwood. So guys, I'll just keep you posted how it's going. We didn't have a lot of sales in the first town, but there was a dragon. So town number 2, let's get to it. Did I mention that you guys should check out my books? I wrote a couple under a pen name Kirk Comet, but of course feel free to check me out as Benji Kreckman too. Here's one of my favorites, Demon and Witch. Thanks so much. Bye.